Get ready for a wild one today. We're going to be diving into some news stories that are so strange.
So strange.
You'll be wondering if we made them up. Spoiler alert, we didn't.
And believe me,
We wish we did.
you couldn't make this stuff up if you tried.
Today's deep dive is brought to you by a Hebrew language podcast called The News Report That You Deserve.
I love that.
It's hosted by these two guys, Meir and Hai, who have a real knack for digging out the most bizarre news stories from around the world.
And they're hilarious.
Yeah, they find the humor in the strangest places.
Which, let's be honest, we all need a little bit of these days,
For
right?
real. Okay, are you ready to get weird?
I'm always ready to get weird. Hit me with it.
All right, so first up, we've got a pregnant inmate in Florida,
Okay, I'm listening.
and she's accused of a pretty serious crime, but that's not the strange part.
It's Florida, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say it gets weirder.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
So she's trying to argue that her fetus, her unborn child, deserves its own legal representation,
Whoa. Hold on.
separate from hers.
Like, the fetus is its own legal entity.
That's exactly what she's saying.
Is that even, is that a thing? Can you even do that?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Legally speaking, in the U.S. at least, it's a long shot.
Yeah, I was going to say.
A fetus doesn't have the same rights as a person, at least not yet.
But there's always a but.
But, and this is a big but,
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat.
this case brings up this whole huge debate about fetal personhood.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one.
It's like, where do you even draw the line? Does a pregnant woman's right to bodily autonomy extend to the fetus? It gets really complicated really quickly.
No kidding. And this case is like throwing gasoline on that fire.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, what kind of precedent could this set?
Right. Even if she doesn't win, which, let's be real, is the most likely outcome, it still brings up a lot of questions that the courts are going to have to grapple with eventually.
Absolutely. And speaking of questionable legal strategies,
More.
buckle up. Remember that whole Lady Gaga dog napping incident?
How could I forget? Poor pups.
So you've got this woman who found the dogs, not the person who stole them, but the one who returned them.
Right. And Lady Gaga was offering a $500,000 reward, no questions asked.
Exactly. So this woman returns the dogs, thinking she's about to be $500,000 richer.
As you would. I mean, I'd return some dogs for a tenth of that.
Who wouldn't? But get this. Lady Gaga doesn't pay up.
Wait, seriously? What's the holdup?
And now the woman is suing Lady Gaga for breach of contract.
Breach of contract.
Yeah.
For a dog walking reward? I mean, come on.
You know, right? It just feels wrong on so many levels.
It's like trying to profit off of a crime even if she wasn't the one who actually did the dog napping.
And this whole thing just raises so many questions.
I'm like, what is happening?
Is a verbal reward offer even legally binding?
It feels like one of those things where it's like, morally, no, you shouldn't be able to sue for that. But legally? I don't know, man. I'm not a lawyer.
Me neither. What would I do if I were Lady Gaga?
Speaking of questionable decisions and switching gears from celebrity lawsuits to the downright bizarre... Did you see that ghost story you sent me?
Oh man, the Andrew Tate saga continues. This time, with a paranormal twist. I swear the guy could be in a Romanian jail cell and still make headlines. It's kind of impressive in a weird way.
Right. For those who haven't been following his, let's call it a colorful life update, he's claiming he fought a ghost in his cell.
I saw that.
I have to admit, even for Andrew Tate, that one seemed a little out there.
Yeah, even for him. But see, that's the thing. Whether that ghost was real or not, and I'm leaning towards not, it doesn't really matter. He's still controlling the narrative, still getting people to talk. It's all about crafting that persona, even from behind bars.
It's like he's playing a character, right?
Yeah.
Andrew Tate versus the world, or I guess in this case, Andrew Tate versus the paranormal.
Exactly. And people eat it up. They're sharing it, commenting, arguing about it. It keeps his name out there, keeps him relevant even when he's offline. Literally. It's kind of brilliant in a messed up way.
I never thought of it that way, but it's true. It's like, what do they call it? Performance art. Only designed to game the algorithm.
Totally. And it speaks to this larger thing we see online all the time, this blurring between who we are in real life and who we pretend to be online. Like, we all do it to some extent, choosing our best angles or wittiest comments. But social media gives you the tools to take that to a whole other level. It's like building this whole other identity.
So Andrew Tate's ghost story, it's not just about some dude seeing things in his sleep-deprived state. It's like a weird example of something we all do shaping our online personas, showing the world what we want them to see.
Right. We all pick and choose what we share, right? the vacations, the perfect meals, the witty comebacks we totally thought of on the spot. But in doing that, we're building a narrative. We're telling a story.
It makes you realize there are so many layers to everything online. You can't take anything at face value.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, be mindful of how you present yourself online, but also how you interpret what you see from other people.
Always more than meets the eye.
Okay, let's move on to another story. And this one is a bit of a head scratcher, even for us.
Hit me.
So we've got a guy who called the cops on himself.
Okay, that's not that unusual. People call the cops on themselves all the time. Usually by accident, though.
Usually, but not this time. He called 911
Right.
because he had bomb-making materials in his van.
Oh,
What?
you heard that right. Bomb-making materials.
I mean, did he say why? Like, what's the thought process there?
So that's the craziest part. He didn't give a reason. Just, hey, I've got bomb stuff. Come get me. That's concerning, to say the least.
It really is. Like, is this a cry for help, a really misguided attempt at a prank? Or something even more sinister?
It's impossible to know for sure, but it definitely highlights the importance of taking every threat seriously. You never know what someone might be capable of.
Exactly. Better safe than sorry, especially when it comes to something like that. All right, on a slightly lighter note.
Please tell me it involves puppies and rainbows this time.
Well, not quite. But it does involve a certain Mexican president.
Oh boy, here we go. What did he do now?
And what he claims is photographic evidence of a mythical creature.
Hold up. A mythical. Like a dragon, a unicorn, Bigfoot.
Close. He says it's an alux.
On the Lux? Never heard of it.
It's a creature from Mayan folklore.
Okay, so we're going with cryptids now. Interesting.
Basically, it's this mischievous little woodland spirit that likes to play pranks on people.
And he's got a picture of this. A Lux.
That's what he says. He even posted on Twitter for everyone to see.
Oh no, he's really committed to the bit, huh?
Totally committed. And of course, the internet had a field day with it.
As the internet does.
Yeah.
I guess if you're going to see a mythical creature, that's the one to see.
Yeah, better a prankster than, like, a chupacabra or something.
Right. So what does this picture look like? Is it convincing?
Honestly, it's blurry. Like, really blurry. You can't really make out what it is.
Of course it is. Classic.
Right, it could be anything. A really blurry tree,
Yeah.
a dog.
His nephew in a Halloween costume.
Exactly.
So what do you think? Is he being serious or is this just a publicity stunt?
Honestly, I'm going with a bit of both. Like, maybe he really does believe in this stuff. Or maybe he just knows it's a good story.
Politicians and a good story.
Right.
Name a more iconic duo.
Right. But either way, it's got people talking, and it's kind of refreshing, you know?
I get it. It's nice to have something lighthearted to talk about for a change.
For real. It's a nice break from all the doom and gloom, you know?
I'm all for a little bit of whimsy in our lives.
Yeah.
Even if it comes from the most unexpected places.
Absolutely. We're heading over to India, where a wedding celebration took a turn no one saw coming. Picture this. A joyous occasion, families gathered, and then, tragically, the bride passes away during the ceremony.
And this is where understanding the cultural context is so important. In India, marriage is a huge deal.
It's not just about the couple, right?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about family, societal expectations.
Yeah.
There's a deep sense of tradition, often with arrangements made long beforehand.
It's a completely different world than what many of us are used to.
Right. And it makes what reportedly happened next even more, well, unexpected. The family is hit with this unimaginable tragedy. And then comes the suggestion that the groom could marry the bride's sister instead.
Wow. Just trying to process that for a second. It's like something out of a movie.
I know, right? It makes you think about the range of emotions. Grief, confusion, maybe even a sense of duty all swirling together.
Absolutely. You just can't even begin to fathom what it must have been like to be there.
And while we don't have every single detail, it's safe to say that cultural norms surrounding marriage, the logistics of a huge event already in motion, maybe even financial factors, they could all be playing a role here.
It's just a stark reminder of how diverse cultural practices can be, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it really emphasizes the importance of empathy, of trying to understand those nuances, even if they're different from our own experiences.
It really makes you realize how much we can learn from stories like that. But, okay, switching gears completely here. From the world of weddings to, well, let's just say international relations, with a little bit of Hollywood action thrown in.
You're not going to believe this one. We're talking about Vladimir Putin and Steven Seagal.
Wait, what? Like Under Siege Steven Seagal?
The one and only. Putin recently awarded him a Medal of Friendship.
Okay, hold up. I know Seagal got Russian citizenship back in 2016, but a Medal of Friendship, what's the deal there?
Well, Seagal's been pretty vocal about his support for Putin for years now.
So it's more than just bonding over martial arts, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. This goes way beyond that. And it really sheds light on this fascinating concept of soft power in international relations.
Soft power. Fill me in.
So, think of it this way. Putin makes this very public gesture of friendship with a Hollywood star, someone instantly recognizable, even if his movies aren't topping the charts anymore. It's a way of projecting this image of Russia having support on the world stage.
Even if it's from, well, someone you wouldn't exactly expect.
Exactly. It's all about sending a message, both internally and to the rest of the world, like, hey, we've got friends in high places.
It's almost like a strategic PR move.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that sometimes the most intriguing plays in the game of global politics happen outside of those official meetings and treaties. Sometimes it's about leveraging the power of celebrity, however unexpected the pairing might be.
You really never know what you're going to get, do you? Okay, well, after that deep dive into international intrigue, I think I'm ready for something a bit lighter. This next story involves some family drama, but it's all centered around pie. Pie, Florida man. What could go wrong, right?
Well, this time it's serious, like potential jail time serious.
Kidding, over pie. What happened? Someone bake a deadly pecan pie.
Not quite. It seems a Florida man might actually face some legal trouble for throwing water on his brother, and they were arguing about, you guessed it, pie.
Okay, hold on. Jail time for a little splash fight? This is about who gets the last slice, not some hardcore pie-related crime.
It sounds pretty ridiculous, I know. But the story goes that the younger brother ate a piece of pie the older brother was saving. An argument broke out, things escalated, and then came the waterworks.
Hold up. He didn't even weaponize the pie itself, just water. And now we're talking potential jail time. What happened to a good old-fashioned timeout?
It definitely makes you wonder about the punishment fitting the, well, dessert. Of course, we're only getting one side of this story.
Yeah, gotta be careful about jumping to conclusions.
Right. But it does make you think about how quickly things can spin out of control, especially with family.
I guess there's a lesson in here somewhere about not messing with someone and their pie. But on a later note, it's kind of hilarious in a bizarre way, right? This whole big drama. And for what? A slice of pie. Makes you wonder if we're all taking ourselves a little too seriously sometimes.
You know, that's a great point. And it's something that these News You Deserve stories really highlight. In a world that feels saturated with headlines that are either super serious or just plain boring, it's these strange, unexpected stories that bring us back down to earth a bit.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the weird and wonderful world of, well, the world.
We covered a lot of ground today, from pregnant inmates demanding rights for their fetuses, to ghost wrestling influencers, to mythical creature sightings.
It's enough to make your head spin.
Just another day at the office, right?
You got that right. So, until next time, folks, stay curious, stay skeptical, and never be afraid to question everything.
And watch out for those mischievous woodland spirits. You never know when they might be lurking around the corner, ready to prank you.
Words to live by.